On today's edition of the Bluffton News, a Bluffton Police Department update and a Bluffton High student who's been talking up a storm. Thank you for joining us for the Bluffton News. I'm Anneliza Itkor. Let's start things off with Bluffton's current headlines. It took a tiebreaker to do it, but a four-student team from Beaufort High School ultimately came out on top in Beaufort County's second annual academic World Quest competition. Beaufort High's green team tied with Hilton Head Island High's Columbia team at the end of a 3-hour marathon that featured 100 difficult questions about current events and national security issues. Beaufort High's team won a tiebreaker by naming more of OPEC's 12-member countries than the Hilton Head team. A second team from Beaufort High, the gray team, came in third. Beaufort High's winning green team was composed of Shay McAuliffe, Austin Mix, Sierra Cordial, and Michael Schwartz. A plan to ease crowding at Bluffton middle schools heads to the Beaufort County School Board for a vote this week. A community committee of 27 members recommends placing two modular units of 23 rooms at Bluffton High School, which would take in 9th graders from Bluffton and H.E. McCracken middle schools. Modular classrooms are self-contained structures of individual classrooms that require less space than individual mobiles. Terry Bennett, director of grant management for the district, said using new mobiles would cost the district about $1 million versus about $2 million for the modular option, which includes additional office space and other benefits. School bus drivers and monitors working for Durham School Services, the Beaufort County School District's transportation contractor, have approved a 5-year contract. Late last week, the vote concluded months of negotiations between Durham and the Teamsters, the union that represents the drivers, as well as monitors who assist drivers in transporting special education students. The Durham employees have been working without a contract since last summer. Drivers and monitors in all 3 districts voted last month to authorize strikes if contract negotiations were unsuccessful. The Beaufort County School District was not a party in the contract negotiations. About half of the 200 school bus drivers and monitors who serve more than 11,000 students each day in the district are union members. The Beaufort County Treasurer's Office has announced a cost-saving effort of $41,000 in postage after teaming up with the South Carolina Department of Motor Vehicles. The SCDMV will mail one document that will contain both the customer's vehicle registration and their vehicle property tax receipt. Previously, the Treasurer's Office and the SCDMV sent separate mailings, doubling the postage costs. Beaufort County did have to pay a one-time fee of $1,836 to the SCDMV for development costs. In the future, Beaufort County will be responsible for ensuring SCDMV has accurate data on tax receipts, providing tax information for any taxpayer questions, and continuing to make duplicate receipts to taxpayers when requested. 19-year-old Bernard Jenkins of Hardeeville was indicted on 2 counts of murder on February 21st, and this past Friday, he was denied bond. Jenkins was charged in October with the murder of Desmond Brown, 25 of Hardeeville, and Octavia Scott, 26 of Bluffton. He will remain in custody until trial. And let's take a look at what's happening around the state. The body of 56-year-old Walter Tom Hawkins Jr. was found Sunday in a wooded area off South Carolina Highway 391 near Prosperity. His family had reported Hawkins missing last Friday. A man was taken into custody, and authorities say they expect murder charges to be filed. Alcohol appears to be a factor in the death. Judge Aaron C. Butler denied bond Sunday for 20-year-old Marquis Spencer McDonald. McDonald's initial hearing is scheduled for April 26th. McDonald is charged with murder in the death of 19-year-old Anthony Liddell of Bennettsville, who was a sophomore at Coastal Carolina University. Liddell was shot in the chest early last week in a parking lot. McDonald appeared at the hearing without an attorney. He told the judge that Liddell was one of his best friends and that he had saved his life. Authorities say 24-year-old Xavier Wynn of Uno was charged with neglect of a child after police officers found 4 children younger than the age of 6 alone in a car in a parking lot. Investigators say someone called police after seeing the children inside the parked SUV. A report from the Spartanburg Public Safety Department said the children were crying and it was 38 degrees outside. One officer waited 40 minutes with the children while another found Wynn, who is the father of 3 of the children. For more information on these headlines and more, please check out the media sources you see listed on your screen. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter. When we come back, Lynn Hummel of the Bluffton Sun takes us behind the scenes of Bluffton's top stories as we bring you hot off the presses. And we have the Bluffton Business Report, courtesy of Shellie West-Hodges.
The smoked chipotle burrito is really good.
Yeah, my zesty cheesesteak burrito's great.
Are you familiar, Pete, with the phrase, don't mess with success?
Yeah.
Because this is not only messing with success, this is taking success to the cliff and shoving success over.
Success said, oh, please, don't do anything, leave me alone.
These burritos didn't even hear that. They heard, oh, put, and that was it. It was just like, wah. Egg everywhere.
Wake up to sirloin steak and fluffy eggs with the new zesty cheesesteak and smoked chipotle breakfast burritos. This is how you Sonic.
Welcome back to the Bluffton News. BJ Frazier from the Bluffton Sun joins us now. So, BJ, it appears that we've got a firebug in our midst.
Yeah, it would appear that way, Anneliza. As we all know, about 4 months ago at the Bear Creek Golf Club on Hilton Head, there was a fire at the golf cart shed, and 52 golf carts were destroyed, completely destroyed. And that fire has been under investigation, and it's now been deemed an arson. A case of arson. So just last week, another golf cart shed fire at Eagles Point Golf Club here in Bluffton burned to the ground, and 82 golf carts were destroyed. It's a terrible tragedy, and again, this is under investigation by the Bluffton Fire Township and the Sheriff's Office, but they're not saying it's arson right now. So I don't know whether it's a disgruntled golfer with a bad score or whatever it might be, and it's no joking matter, but Eagles Point is back up and running again, and with borrowed golf carts, so head on over and play.
Well, I know that this has been kind of devastating for these companies because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad to hear that they're turning it around. Moving on to a more upbeat topic, I understand that we have a new superintendent of schools.
Yes, after months of searching, Jeffrey Moss of Lee County, North Carolina, who has over 30 years of experience in public education, has been named the superintendent. He was voted in a 9-2 margin over Gloria Davis, and Jeffrey begins July 1, and we're looking forward to his innovative ideas. He's big on technology, and that should help us along.
Well, it's going to be exciting to see how he takes over, and the changes that he makes is all very exciting.
That's right.
Now, speaking of Beaufort County, they have agreed to buy some more land?
Yes, the Garvey Hall property, about 3 months ago, the county has purchased about 50 acres, and just recently they purchased another 82 acres for $1.1 million. And it's important because this part of this property borders on the New River, so it's really an environmental hedge against the future growth and so forth. So it's wonderful that they're doing it. Nobody likes to spend $1 million on anything, but I think it's going to pay off well in the future. And the funds come from the Rural and Critical Lands Preservation Program, so it won't hurt too much. It's not going to raise taxes, but it's our government looking forward to the future and doing it in a very green manner.
That's terrific. Well, BJ, thanks so much for coming out today and keeping us up to date.
Happy to do it, Anneliza.
We always look forward to our Bluffton Business Report because in spite of a challenging business climate, Shellie West-Hodges always manages to bring us positive news. So Shellie, this week we're kind of taking a look at the informative side of business.
Yeah, there are a lot of things going on, especially with spring coming, that a lot of activity, a lot of events that are really great places for people to network and get their businesses out there. And one is the Women's Business Expo that's Saturday.
Now, what exactly is the Women's Business Expo?
This is being put on by Ebenezer Church, which is out in Pinckney Colony Road, And it is for people, women, any ladies out there that may have a small business that working out of their home that want exposure. It doesn't matter what type of business. It could be healthcare, it could be selling jewelry, it could be whatever someone does for a living. But this is a good way for them to showcase their business and really highlight what these ladies do out there.
How do they get involved and participate in the expo?
Well, it is being put on through Ebenezer Church, and the contact at Ebenezer Church is Pastor Patricia Lopez, and they are still open for some vendors. I believe they have 30 or 40 vendors now, and they're doing a lot of festivities, music, dances. There's also going to be healthcare screenings, and our Mayor Lisa Selka will be there as well for the ribbon cutting to celebrate the first year of that event.
Gotcha.
It'll be a big deal.
That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Definitely something I'm going to have to make my way out to. Now, a little more on a somber note, I know that theft and things like that are sort of up in this economy. What's happening in our community that helps us get a grasp on that?
Well, our recent issue with the state identity theft situation is really an issue for personal as well as business folks who may own small businesses. And there is an identity theft seminar coming up next Monday on March the 11th to give business owners a way to protect themselves and get involved with the program. And this program is being put through by Nikki Haley's office up there at the State House.
Okay. And any more information that we need in how we get involved with this, how we learn more about it?
Yes, it's actually being put on by Coastal Investigative Services, and it's going to be at the Greater Bluffton Chamber on Monday at 5:30, right after work. It's $10 for any chamber members. That covers the cost of the materials. And they can just call the chamber at 757-1010 for more information.
Okay, great. And just to clarify, Monday, what's the exact date?
March the 11th.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So identity theft, one concern. Healthcare reform, another. A lot of confusion on what's going on with the healthcare reform. And then you've got some information that's going to help clear that up.
Yeah, I mean, these are, what we're talking about today are some issues that are really in the forefront of small business owners, because we're all concerned about how the new healthcare program is going to affect us. And Prudential is doing a program in conjunction with Blue Cross Blue Shield out of Columbia, and Brian Weathersby, who is with Prudential, will be conducting an information seminar on March the 28th, which is going to be a luncheon over at the Legacy Building in downtown Bluffton. So a lot of good information. Questions, fact-finding type seminar.
Great. Well, I'll definitely be checking that out. Shellie, thank you so much. This was very informative.
Thank you.
After the break, Lt Joe Babkiewicz talks about current issues impacting the Bluffton Police Department, and we'll meet a Bluffton High School student who has been recognized for his outstanding public speaking.
Tara's Men's Den, located beside Tara's Salon at the Moss Creek Village, is a full-service salon for men only. Open Monday through Saturday from 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. We offer haircuts, color, highlights, waxing, and treatments for hair loss. No appointment necessary, so come enjoy a relaxing atmosphere for men only, and don't forget senior discounts every Wednesday. Call or visit us today. Our number is 843-837-5555.
Today on the Bluffton News, I am pleased to welcome Lt Joe Babkiewicz of the Bluffton Police Department. So, Joe, we're going to jump right in here. A major concern in this area, mostly in light of the Sandy Hook Elementary School incident, has been school security. What is the Bluffton Police Department doing about that?
First off, our hearts go out to the victims and families of Sandy Hook Elementary School. And the Bluffton Police Department is working with the Beaufort County School District and the Bluffton schools here in this area, both public and private, to go over certain protocols, going over their security protocol for if they have an intruder or active shooter. And the police officers are working with the faculty and the staff over there to make them familiar of what we do when we respond to the scene, and we also familiarize ourselves with what they do and how they react to the situation as well. We're in the process right now of sitting down with all the teachers, letting them know as to how we are going to handle a situation if it ever occurs here in the town of Bluffton. and then eventually we're going to work with them to do exercises each year.
Well, I think it's terrific that you're jumping right in and helping parents feel more secure. Now, along those lines, there's a lot of demand on the police force these days, and I understand that you have a new police reserve program. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, we're getting ready to start up a police reserve program. If people are interested, they come to the police department, fill out an application, and what it does is it actually helps us staff certain special events with those reserves. They would have to complete 240 hours a year, and this is on their own dime. It's all volunteer. However, they will be available for some private overtime as well. So it's a great process if they're looking to get their foot into the door into a law enforcement agency and see what law enforcement is all about. They'll get all the training that we get at the academy, except for it'll be held here in the Beaufort County. And then they'll take a test up at the academy and they'll be certified to be reserve officers.
Well, it sounds like a great way to supplement the force. Current crime trends, what is happening in Bluffton right now?
Our most current crime trend is still breaking and entering into motor vehicles. Once again, we're seeing a lot of unlocked vehicles being entered and items taken out of their vehicles. And really that's, there's no forced entry into these vehicles. They're just checking the doors to see if they're unlocked. They'll make their way into the vehicle and they'll take loose change. They'll take GPSs, things like that. Our best suggestion to everyone is just to lock your door before you go into the house and make sure you keep your valuables out of sight while you're away from your vehicle.
That's fantastic. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface on what's going on with the Bluffton Police Department. So we're going to have you back real soon, but thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for your time.
I am now delighted to welcome a young man who you've seen in the news before. This past July, we actually featured him. Devin Oliver was selected out of a whole bunch of students to present a speech in New Orleans, and he's joining us here today. Devin, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hey, good morning. Well, I am currently a senior at Bluffton High School. I'm the battalion commander of the JROTC program, which is represented in the uniform I'm wearing today. I play varsity lacrosse, played a couple years, and I love giving speeches, and that's what I do, give them all over.
Well, so what exactly did happen in New Orleans?
Well, in New Orleans, my main goal was to deliver a speech in front of about 7,000 cooperative members. They were, they work for the co-op, possibly the CEO. And I was sponsored by Palmetto Electric, which is my local cooperative. And what I did is I developed a speech over the summer, which I delivered in July in Washington, D.C. as the South Carolina state rep. And then from there, I was named the national representative of the Youth Leadership Council for the National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. And in New Orleans, I delivered this speech for the NRECA's annual meeting.
Well, that's quite an honor. Now, do you give other speeches?
I do. I've given multiple speeches. My first speech was Flag Day, my first major speech. I did that in Sun City, and that was on June 14th. My second speech was Veterans Day. I did that here on the island for multiple veterans organizations. The Military Officers Association of America actually invited me out to do that speech.
Well, it sounds like you really have a passion for public speaking.
I mean, my dad's been instilling public speaking since, forever. When I was in 5th grade, I actually gave my first speech at the graduation from elementary school about the DARE program and the drug and alcohol resistance. So I've been public speaking for most of my life. And in high school, I took a class on public speaking taught by Miss Rinaldi, and her and Miss Reichert have really helped me develop my speeches and my presentation skills.
Well, I love hearing that your dad has been an inspiration for you. Tell us more about the JROTC that you're involved with.
Well, a common misconception about the JROTC program is it's like farming students to go into the military, not specifically the Army, but the military. But actually, our goal is to motivate young people to become better citizens. Now, we do have military influence, like we do wear the uniform and we do physical exercise, but most of our goals is to teach people leadership and purpose and motivation. We do run a 100% cadet-run battalion, which means we do have 2 teachers, a senior and an Army instructor, but it's 100% cadet run. So every decision we make on our own, and if we go off track, they knock us back in track. But
All right. Well, Devin, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, so it's a romantic dinner for two. Now, I've already cut some tomato. Time for the vinaigrette. You are going to love this. Okay, we need some sesame seeds. My favourite pan. Now, what's really important is...
With Merillat cabinets, you'll discover function that's irresistible.
Good thing I'm not the jealous type.
Welcome back to the Bluffton News. Just as we all look forward to Friday, so do we also look forward to Kim Viljac's entertainment report. Kim, what you got for us today?
Well, there's a lot going on this time of year. We have the Hilton Head Island Bluffton Chamber of Commerce monthly business after hours in Bluffton this month. It's going to be held at the Old Town Dispensary on March the 14th from 5:30 till 7. They'll have live entertainment, a beer, wine, hors d'oeuvres. It's going to be a great time.
Now, do you have to be a member to attend this?
No, everybody is welcome. You don't have to be a member. If you are a member, it's $10 to get in. If you're not a member, it's $20 to get in, but that also includes your hors d'oeuvres and your beer and wine and drinks.
Now, it's been kind of chilly lately, so it's interesting that we have a home and garden show coming up. Tell us a little bit about that.
I know. Well, it's great if you need some inspiration to get out there in the spring and work on your house or your garden. We have the Low Country Home and Garden Show coming up. It's going to be on March the 22nd through the 24th out at the Buckwalter Recreation Center. And this is the biggest low country home show around. It's an awesome show. They'll have all kinds of ideas for you to decorate your house, to do any kind of renovations, or to do any kind of building that you might want to.
I think I'm going to have to go to that because when it's cold like this, I have zero inspiration when it comes to gardening. So that's going to be really fun. Now, tell us about the tickets for that.
Well, you can get them there, and this is not just an ordinary home show. They have all kinds of stuff going on. They have chef demonstrations, they have wine pairings, they have how-to classes, they have kids programs going on, they have giveaways, they've got all kinds of drawings happening. You can also pick up your Parade of Homes tour guide and passes. And for more information, you can go to their website at lowcountryhomeandgardenshow.com.
Perfect. Now, this last little tidbit you have for us, you know, we've talked about in our headline news the shrimp boat that was built at Du Bois Park, and I understand there's going to be a festival around that.
Yes, I'm so excited about this. This is going to be on March the 23rd, and it's going to be at the park. It's going to be from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock. And I have all kinds of kids activities, and that's where the kids can actually imprint their hands on the bricks. They're also still looking for corporate sponsors if you're interested in doing that as well. They'll have bouncy houses and all kinds of things at this festival. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That sounds great. When and where?
It's going to be at Du Bois Park in Old Town Bluffton, and it's going to be on March the 23rd from 10 until 2.
All right, sounds like it's going to be a great family activity. Yep. Kim, thank you so much. You always bring us the best little to-dos in Bluffton.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for watching the news program that is all Bluffton all the time. I'm Anneliza Itkor. We'll see you next time.